crossing dimensions of time and space. Technology beyond comprehension. They are watching. They are waiting. They are already here.
Official explanation was that nothing had come down to the ground.
We've eliminated everything.
Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, 1965. In a decade marked by conflict and unrest, this tiny hamlet in the hills southeast of Pittsburgh remains untouched by the troubles of the outside world. Until the evening of December 9th. For local resident Stan Gordon, this night marks the beginning of a lifelong journey.
I remember that evening quite well. I was 16 years old. I was actually tuned into KDK radio in Pittsburgh. There was a great radio show that was quite educational, and I used to listen almost every night.
If you're just tuning in, folks, there's a major story breaking about a strange light streaking across the sky.
The reports initially came in with this bright fireball being seen from the tip of Ontario over Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania.
From the calls we're getting, it appears the object is tracking southeasterly over the state towards Westmoreland County, so keep your eyes to the skies, folks.
On the edge of town, 40-year-old truck driver Bill Bulabosh tinkers with his prized possession.
I was under the wood and I could hear this sizzling noise, and I looked at the car. I thought, well, there ain't nothing in the car. Looked up and I seen this streak of fire, and I said, oh, what's this? And it was up about a mile and a half, 2 miles. I watched it and it went towards the mountain. And then it went up there so far and it turned around and come back again, and it seemed like it couldn't make up its mind where it was going to land, you know. And then it made it turn and went right into the woods.
That the object has come to Earth in the Westmoreland Hills.
KDK was breaking in with live reports that an unidentified flying object had reportedly fallen near the village of Kecksburg.
And here's the latest on the bright light situation. Local police have been dispatched to the scene as calls continue to flood the phone lines here at KDKA. We'll have more for you right after a word from our sponsors.
I remember that night I was running back and forth between the TV and the radio trying to listen to the latest reports from the different sources to find out what was going on. There was some thought that maybe this had been an airplane that may have exploded in the sky out towards Greensburg, towards Westmoreland County.
As you can see, the curious have gathered here on Coons Lane near Kecksburg.
They, like us, are hoping to find out what exactly has landed in these woods.
I got in my car and I went up the road. You couldn't get near the place for automobiles on that back road. Get up there and I says, oh my God, where's all these people coming from?
Cruising the Kecksburg Hills in his new car, William Weaver tunes into the local radio station.
I was 19 years old at the time, and I heard on the radio that something had landed there. And as I come down the hill, I seen some people standing off on the side of the road, and I stopped and asked them. And everybody was wondering, you know, what is this? What happened? Is it an airplane? You know, they had no idea. Looking down over the hill, as it was getting dark, I could see that there was a blue light coming off of this that would go very dull and then get very bright and then go back to getting very dull again. But it was very visible.
And I could see lights down there, you know, down in the woods. Looked like sparklers and like some kind of haze coming from it.
So far, authorities at airports from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia are not, repeat, not reporting any missing aircraft. Whatever has crashed into these woods appears to have been flying without a flight plan.
More and more calls were coming into the radio station.
Reports are indeed true. We can tell you that there's a lot of military action going on around here. We have seen numerous military trucks driving toward the site of the alleged...
Seemed very intriguing.
As you can see,
Why would the military be coming in unless they felt that there was some reason to come out there that night?
Here was the Army. They were all there in their guns and everything. They kept everybody up there on the road.
All we're able to observe, apart from the ongoing military activity, is a strange blue glow emanating from the site.
I don't think anybody in that area had ever seen that many soldiers in Kecksburg. There was no bluff involved in what they were making the people do. They told me, back my car out of there and get out of there right away. It's either you move it or I'm going to confiscate your car.
The military has blocked off all incoming roads. Soldiers and state police are not allowing anyone near these woods.
Some people have gone on record and said that soldiers actually aimed their weapons at civilians to prevent them from going down into the area. Why would so many military personnel be sent to a small farming community with armed soldiers aiming weapons at certain civilians trying to get down to the site? Where did that jurisdiction come from? And what was so important down in the woods that they didn't want the public to see? The next day, I was eagerly awaiting the newspapers, and I was trying to get a hold of all the local editions. The morning paper had the heading, Army ropes off area, unidentified flying object falls near Kecksburg. The search, they claimed, continued to about 2 a.m. However, the later edition had the heading, searches failed to find object. It was being stated that people had been mistaken. Nothing had fallen. They had seen just a bright meteor in the sky.
The Air Force made a statement that this was a meteor. In other words, that nothing came down that night. They said that a 3-man team went out to investigate something that started a fire and searched the area and came back at 2 a.m. and found nothing.
I seen it. It made a turn and went right into the woods.
I could see that there was a blue light coming off of it. And this went on the whole time that I was there.
The only official Air Force document that was ever located on the Kecksburg incident suggests that there was only 3 Air Force personnel involved. Yet multitudes of eyewitnesses, including reporters, verified the fact that there was a fairly good military presence, various types of military equipment and personnel, and trucks were observed in different areas around the village that evening.
The Air Force statement completely contradicts what the witnesses have said and what the media reported the night of the event. I hesitate to just accuse a government agency of a cover-up just sort of outright, but I do think it's a possibility.
What's the military keeping from the people of Kecksburg?
John. What? There's something at the window.
And who else is involved in the possible cover-up?
Wait, those guys.
On December 9th, 1965, after reports that a fiery object crashed into the woods, the tiny community of Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, is overrun by military personnel.
All civilians, fall back. Repeat, fall back.
The military has blocked off all incoming roads. There has been no reason given for this latest initiative.
The following day, newspapers report that nothing was found.
The official explanation was it was just a meteor, that nothing had come down to the ground.
But the official story doesn't match up with what John Hayes saw across town.
Some new information. The military presence in Westmoreland County continues to grow in response to reports of this fiery object falling to earth in the woods. Again, here at KDKA,
I was 10 years old, and I lived in a little farmhouse in Kecksburg. We listened to the radio the whole time it was going on.
That convoy of military vehicles has been spotted heading to the east side of the Kecksburg Valley. Stay tuned to KDKA for more of our reports from this.
That's right here behind our house. There was fields and then the woods. My bedroom window faced everything. You know, I had a good viewpoint. I could see people coming in the driveway and cars being parked. I could see flashlights, but you couldn't tell who they were or what kind of vehicle it was. My dad went out to find out what was going on.
Stay here and be quiet. We're supposed to be asleep.
When my dad came back in, he wasn't alone. There was military people with him. My house was converted into military base for a little bit.
John. What? There's something at the window. Okay.
I seen these guys. They was in like moon suits or whatever the heck you want to call them.
Who are those guys?
When they was talking to each other, I seen a NASA patch on one's arm. I thought, you know, that was pretty crazy.
NASA's job during that time period was to deal with anything that fell from space, any debris or anything unexplained. NASA would go to the scene and retrieve the thing that fell.
If the statement released by the Air Force is true, and nothing was found at the crash site in the woods, what is NASA doing in Kecksburg?
They had a box with them, big box. It's probably about 4 foot wide and about 8 foot long. Then it walked down through the field and down to the corner of the woods where everything was going on.
Please, can I just look for 1 second?
Stop pestering me.
When I was looking out my bedroom window, I was watching the cars and stuff like up on the driveway, and just sort of watching what was going on out there. This Jeep come down through and then truck come down through. And it was just a big flatbed truck, you know, it was empty. They was probably down there for a half hour to maybe 45 minutes at that. And they came back out with something on the back of the truck.
So what's going on?
It was dark, you know, I could just, you know, I could tell by shapes, you know. It's probably about the size of a Volkswagen, you know, from where I was at. And when it went down, it didn't have nothing on it. When they come back out, it had something on it.
Because of all the witness reports, the newspaper reports, the radio coverage, we know that something came down that night and was taken away on a truck.
I believe that there are people that have either direct information on this case or have knowledge of the event, and I believe that it's very possible that there is physical evidence out there. Could that fireball have been something other than a meteor?
Did a meteorite land in the Kecksburg woods?
Meteorites are meteors that hit the Earth. They're rocks from space that we actually recover on the surface of the Earth. Most meteorites come from the asteroid belt. We also have some meteorites that come from the planet Mars. They're blasted off of Mars by impacts. Rocks go into